Hi, everybody. Apparently we're live. Oh, mine just said it right now. There's always a delay on mine. Anyway, welcome to Behind the Scenes. Today we decided that we were going to talk about promposals. And then, we were talking about how it's not just promposals that are over the top. Like there is a culture of like celebrating everything, which is great. And some people are celebrating it like everything in their life is kind of like throwing a wedding, and some people are doing little things. And we also have a great article about promposals, which talks about the same thing. One of the things that is interesting in the article is the downside of doing that. Like, what does it do to our kids who don't like the public show of a promposal, whatever it is? And so I was thinking of all the times where there were someone else would say right-sized, but for me, they felt like oversized kind of celebrations. And I had no trouble not kind of getting sucked into it because I gave my kids such a low bar of expectations. Like I never sent a care package anywhere to my kids. And I had friends who like 8 days of Hanukkah, if they had a kid somewhere, would get 8 days of presents. And I could barely manage to get something that everyone wanted. And in my house, the joke is, it's not even a joke. I guess if it's true, it's not. But they got socks every year. They were cute socks, by the way. I thought they were creative and cute, but I never rose to that. So I never jumped in. Like, I don't think we did stuff for high school graduation, unless, like sometimes a friend would call up and say, do you want to do something? And then you do it. Might have gone like way far to the other extreme. So I'm hoping someone here today is going to talk about the other ways. Like if you went over the top, tell us why you went over the top and why that mattered to you. And if you called yourself regular, tell us about that. So I'm going to start with Kamira because I feel like she probably has a good story. Yeah. And if you're in the audience and you want to share yours, we would love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear this and I go straight into comedy, and I'm like, yes, and I have no problem with however you want to do your celebration, whether it's a kid's birthday party or wedding or whatever. I try to teach our kids just to be comfortable in all settings, right? So comfortable in a humble setting, comfortable in an extravagant setting, be yourself no matter the setting, and then we're cool. And I always, when people ask me like what they should do for these things, I'm like, just do what you want, but be clear. Like I like to give big birthday parties for little kids. I really did. It's fun. But I had to be clear that that was for me. It was my fun making that big birthday party. I mean, I was their event planner, so they consulted with me and stuff. And when they got to a certain age, it was like a rite of passage for our sons. Each one at a certain age realized, I have to manage this woman. It's just, and they did. And, I had one who was like, listen, I can't have more than 10 people at a party. Another one was like, I don't like parties at all. One for his college graduation. He was like, I just want a dinner. My family, my girlfriend's family, that's it. I'll let you pick an over the top restaurant. How about that?
I love that.
And this may be controversial. Now, I do purposely put us in settings that are very diverse and equity is a priority, et cetera. But I don't believe, I remember one time, one of my kids' parents in the class wanted to restrict birthday parties on the size and the amount you spend. And I said, in the classroom? And they said, no, the private ones. I'm like, oh, no, you can't do that. Like what people do outside of school with their own money.
You were supposed to agree as a group to all have the same level of spending? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
And this is a very diverse classroom. I'm like, and in my mind, I'm supposed to teach my child how to enjoy and appreciate all the different ones and how to celebrate people the way they want to celebrate, not to tell them what they're allowed to do. And there were real income disparities and just, comfortability. Some people don't like to throw those parties. Some people have the money, but the last thing they want to do is plan a kiddie party. But if that's you, just send it to me because I love them.
Kamira, I'm with you. I mean, I think we each do, and I think we've talked about that a lot, or it's a theme of your team media is do what's best for you and your family, right? If it's a if it's a big over the top and that's what's best for you and your family, okay. If it's a quiet, just taking the family out to dinner or having your son or daughter's child's favorite dinner at home, that's okay too. And I am comfortable with that. I know when my kids were getting out of high school, which is really the only time we did a party, and Jessica, you were in the same area that I was. There's pressure because so many kids have grad parties. And I just remember saying, let's do ours early, first one, so that we don't care what anybody else, like we don't have to say, oh, they did that, we should do this. We'll be the first ones and then we are done. But if it wasn't a thing in our town, I don't think we would have done it. But it was a thing.
There were so many people doing that. I think I was probably like one of the like handful of kids in my class that just refused straight up. But I also just, I have a very small group of friends. I had like 2 people over one time to kind of like have cake. I think another time we had like a little mini party with my my grandparents who were in town. But I was like, I cannot handle that many people even on a good day. And if I have to be the center of attention, like I can't. Yeah. I can't do that.
And you know what, Jessica, I'm the same way. Like, I do not like to be the center of attention for birthdays and things like that. So I completely get it. But I think it all depends. Other kids thrive on that. So if you can, more power to you.
It's a little bit like, are you doing, like Dan loves surprises. So he always made me surprise parties and I don't like surprises. So I never made him. And at one point I said, I should probably make you surprise parties and you probably shouldn't make me surprise parties, right? So are we saying to the kids, you drive this, like Jessica said, no way? Or is it like Kamira is saying, I know this is for me, but then when the kids get older, you let them drive it. What do you think?
I think as they get older, you let them drive it if you can, right? And let's face it, graduation parties are not cheap. So you also have to, especially if your child is going on to a college, or you're helping them, get an apartment of their own. Life is expensive, and a graduation party, depending on the size, can be expensive. So I really think we all kind of have to, MYOB, mind our own business, whatever that is, and be happy if that's what you celebrate. I mean, we did have a comment, and I'll bring this up. We did put the Jessica, if you want to put it up too, the 8th grade graduation parties, are they over the top? Article up, and one mom commented that, and it's such a sad statement, I hate even to say it, but she said, these days, we don't know if our kids are coming home from school. So why not? Why not celebrate the milestones? How do you argue with that? I mean, so sad and heartbreaking to read that comment, but she had a point. So,
Melissa, what'd you do in your house?
So neither of my kids wanted graduation parties. For my older daughter, I was actually in a class in Florida during her graduation, which almost killed me because I wasn't there for her graduation, but they live streamed it for me. Like, not the school, my husband and my daughter, my other daughter live streamed it for me. So that was nice that I got a little window into what was happening. And she actually showed up at the airport in her cap and gown, which was like, yay, it was so special. And my other daughter, she was done with high school. She did not want to party. She didn't want to see anybody ever again. It was like, she was done. But I think the biggest celebrations that we had were their bat mitzvahs. I mean, that was like, we just, we saw a lot of family that we hadn't seen in a while. So those are really special. And Mindy, I get what those people are saying on social media about, with COVID and school shootings and all that stuff, and our kids are coming home. We had a similar situation where with my older daughter's bat mitzvah, where my mom had just passed in November, and she and Shelly, my older daughter, couldn't study. She was just a wreck, understandably, and we decided to actually pull it together in 6 weeks. She did all of her studying in 6 weeks, and I planned the party in 6 weeks, and boom, it was like done. And that was just like, we needed it after
Mhm.
being on high alert with my mom and being critical condition and everything. We needed that kind of release and to also honor her at that event. So, and of course, when you do it with the first one, you've got to like follow up with your next one, right? Like, so we had another big bat mitzvah.
And was promposal a big thing in your kids' houses? Like my youngest, who just graduated college yesterday, but when he was in high school, he had the same girlfriend that he has now, and he was just going to say, we're going to prom, right? And his friends gave him such a hard time. Like, you can't do that. They practically planned the promposal for him. So,
my older daughter actually did the promposal to the guy that she was seeing at the time.
oh, she's the one who did it?
She's the one who did it.
I love that. What'd she do?
And,
That's awesome.
I think she just made a poster and held it up at some public event. I can't remember where she was. She was somewhere with friends, I think. And my younger daughter did not want to go to prom. Like, yeah, she was, yeah.
I had 3 different, my older son, not a big one, but he did, I don't know, some note thing to want the girl he wanted to go with. My middle son had a hard time. He's more my introverted. He had a really hard time because, again, that was a thing, or maybe they still are. So he had a really hard time. And anyone who knows us knows the Gallaghers we don't have a creative bone in our body. So finally he was a lacrosse player. And at the end of a game, he wrote on the ball, prom ? And he tossed the game ball. Okay. And so that was fun. And then my youngest had a girlfriend. Yeah, it was really cute. I have to say, I kept saying to the girl, he's going to ask you. I know he's going to ask you, but she's now married to someone else, but good for her. But anyway, I digress. But it was a really cute way that he did it, but it was like last minute. And then my youngest, similar to Jacob, or your son, hope it's okay. I said his name.
That's okay.
had a girlfriend, and I don't even think he did anything. He just said they just knew they were going. I think.
Right.
So.
Right.
And it was all fine. All good.
I was just gonna say, like, for promposals, like, they're cute, but like, I feel like the best sort of promposals are the ones to do for like a girl, like a girlfriend you already know is gonna go. Because I've seen like so many like horror stories of like, oh god, my favorite was there's I don't remember if it was Reddit, but it was like pictures that tell a story, and it's just a picture of like a promposal board. It said like, I think it said, will you Goku prom with me, and like picture of like the anime character Goku, and it was just shoved into a trash can, and it's like, that didn't go well. That didn't go over well. Like,
okay, but I feel that way at sporting events, like at the Cavs game. There's always a proposal going on, and it's like, what if the girl says no?
That's so much pressure.
So much, and like also, what if like the girl feels compelled to say yes? Like that's also so uncomfortable.
Right.
Well, etiquette has that if there's a public proposal of any type, that you should say yes. And then if you really mean no in private, tell them, by the way.
Oh, really?
That's what etiquette says.
Why do you know that, Myra?
Oh, because I am Charles Harding's daughter, and there are certain things that I have to know. I had a library of etiquette books and talks.
Look at that.
But when you opened, Sue, you were talking about going over top. I have to say, I am happy that I am empty nesting, because when I see what some people are doing, whether it's a wedding or a birthday party or these fancy lunches that they're making for their kids, I could not keep up. And I think the peer pressure is probably strong in our family. And I hope that the subsequent generations go by this lead. My rule has always been, for anything like that, I have to pay cash. There's no charging. We even paid cash for our wedding. We saved up money. We did a plan. And I just think that you should have a lot of fun at a celebration. And when it's over, and there should not be any bills when it's over.
That's a great idea. Because then it makes you stick to a budget too.
Yep.
I always did that. I always picked the number I thought was commensurate with like the idea of what I thought it was worth, not like, because the minute you get into the planning of something, it keeps going up and up. And I was like, nope, nope, sorry, not the budget. But I don't, you know, my kids will probably have over the top ones because they had a mother who did nothing. Sorry, Melissa, go for it.
I was just going to say, Kamara, you bring up a really important point. There's a lot of peer pressure for the kids to do these promposals and celebrations and graduation parties and all that stuff. But there's also a lot of pressure on parents to keep up with what the other parents are doing. Sure. And I just want to say, like, if you don't want to do a celebration, I have your back. Like, if no one else in your community is supporting you, just know that you have someone who like gives you the stamp of approval. You're fine. Like you do what you're comfortable with and what you can manage. And no judgment from us. So
exactly. And Kamara, I just want to say, I love your etiquette because I think we are so short on that today. And and I agree. I agree with you said about the proposals and stuff in public. So anyway, I support your dad if he's the one that gave you all that. I love someone with really,
Okay, but I think that's a great one to know because it is polite. Like you liked the person enough to be somewhere with them, even if maybe you were thinking about breaking up. Then they propose to you, and then it's so public. You just let it be public. Let it just be nice, right? I love that. Mm-hmm. It's a little rough, but do the right thing. Don't shame the other person.
Right.
Okay, Kamara, give us one more etiquette thing we might not know.
One more. Oh, here's a good one. When riding an escalator or going through revolving doors, if you're going by cis male and female roles, the man always goes first so that he can help her through the door or help her off the escalator or cushion her fall should that occur.
Okay, but wouldn't then the guy, if it's about falling, wouldn't you have to be behind her on the escalator? Like I was gonna say, if a girl's falling on an esculator, I don't think she's going up. Oh, okay.
Down escalator. You're right, Jessica, the down escalator.
You know what? And along those lines, we have to have another one on etiquette. I love when someone opens a door for you. To me, I think that's just so. I don't know. I think it's great.
Do you care if it's a guy? Like if someone in front of you is male or female and holds the door for you, does that feel the same?
It feels absolutely the same. It's just polite. It's kindness. But I love it. But I don't mind when it's, a man too and says, oh, ladies first. Well, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that.
I'm not so much.
I think it's kindness. I don't think it's anyway. We shouldn't debate. Now's not the time.
No, it is. It is, Mindy. Let's get into it.
The rule in our house is if I have made an effort to dress or make up, they better be opening doors and stuff.
Here's just a quick one that I've always remembered when we were vacationing, back in the 20s. So this 100 years ago.
Back in the 20s?
Well, we were in our 20s, like 100 years ago, because I'm so old. But we were at an island, a Caribbean island, just a bunch of us. And one of the guys, not girlfriend, he would always walk on the outside of the sidewalk. He'd move himself. And I was like, first, what do you do? And he was like, I was just taught, like, the guy should protect. Hey, I'm good. If a car's coming, he's going to hit you first. No. But I just thought, you know what I mean? I don't know. Doesn't mean I can't handle myself, but hey, fine. Anyway, I love etiquette. I'm fine with it.
I think if it's kindness, there's always room for kindness. Brian Stevenson spoke at graduation yesterday, and that was most of what he's talked about was you're growing up into a world where you have a choice and you can change the world in a good way and kind way. And it was lovely. Like, doesn't matter how you show your kindness. So if chivalry is important for you, Mindy, you get your kindness.
I just think it's nice.
Chivalry and etiquette are two different things, as I try to tell my resistant sons, because etiquette is, as Susan said, kindness and also to make things easier. Like I tell them, for example, passing, when you pass in one direction at the table, that's so that we don't crash. It's not just, this arbitrary rule. There should be a reason for it.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have a last word? We overshared today. We hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for being here with us. See you next week.
Bye-bye.